Good evening, everyone, or shall I say good morning, good afternoon, or good day to the rest of the world. Welcome back to Pageant Mag Philippines live sessions. Wow. So, guys, you know what? I'm very much excited for tonight's live session. By the way, yours truly, Francois Diaz, your pageant correspondent, and we are live simultaneously on Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. If you are new to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe. Please, 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 please. And click the bell notification and follow as well our Facebook page and like rather. Follow and like rather our Facebook page for more pageant updates. We are also on Instagram and TikTok. So please guys do follow us on all our social media platforms. Now guys, if you have any questions later, for our guest tonight, please don't hesitate to drop your questions down below at the comment section. Yun nga lang guys, wag masyadong marami daw. Joke! Anyways, let me just... episode, by the way, guys, is being brought to us by Celebrity, a celebration of tea of a lifetime. All right, I believe that you are all excited to meet our guest. Yes, as I am as well, as I do as well. And so our esteemed guest tonight is a Miss Universe Philippines 2021 candidate hailing from San Juan City. So together guys, let's meet our guest.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. I am Rousanne Bernos. I'm a content creator. I teach English on TikTok. I am an entrepreneur, the brown girl behind Morena the Label, and I am a podcaster, one half of Camp Confidence Radio. For fun, I like adventure. I once hiked 113 kilometers for 6 days straight. I love hiking, I love wall climbing, I love having fun.
Wow, so there you go. We've met our guest. So please do help me to welcome our guest with a virtual applause, the pride of San Juan City, Rousanne Marie Bernos.
Good
Hello,
evening, sir.
Rousanne. Wow. So much excited, and we have so many viewers right now. Would you like to greet your followers? I mean your supporters rather.
Yes, please. Well, good evening, everyone, and good evening, Sir Francois. I love your name,
Mhm.
by the way.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to everyone who is watching right now. Thank you for all the support.
Wow. So there you go, guys. I'm more than grateful and honored to have her tonight in our channel for gracing our channel and, of course, our Facebook page. So, how are you, Ayin?
I'm doing well. I'm getting used to all the preparations and, of course, the new pageant life. But overall, I think it's been a really good experience. So thank you
Mhm.
so much again for having me. Nakaka-excite naman mapunta dito.
Kami ang na-excite actually, Ayin. So, Ayin, before we go further, can you tell us more about yourself? Because the only thing that we know about you is that you're a sensation in social media, like in TikTok especially, right? So, can you tell us more about Ayin? Some interesting facts.
Yes, so beyond TikTok, everybody, I guess most people know me as a TikTok content creator, but I actually
Mhm.
just started last December. So before I became a TikToker, I still am. I'm an entrepreneur. So I have my own small business, which is mainly my day job. And then I'm also a public speaker, which I think some of you guys know as well. I
Mhm.
mostly do motivational speeches, inspirational speeches. I'm part of a public speaking org. For as you saw in my introduction, I'm also a big hiking fan, so I really really love adventure. And if I'm not wearing makeup and doing pageant stuff, you'd probably see me, in a mountain somewhere. So that's what I've been doing before this whole internet thing blew up.
Wow, that's really amazing because I can see that you have so much on your plate right now. However, you still found time or still find time to at least join the pageant. So, what's basically the reason why you decided to join pageantry?
Sir, I've actually been a big fan of pageants pretty much my whole life, as in from the time that I was a little girl. I remember staying up super late just to watch the national pageants. I kept thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what would it feel like if I could join? And I always promised myself that the moment I could join, I would join, which I mentioned before. And yun nga po, when I saw the poster and it said no height requirements, I said, this is the chance. I'm turning 27 in a month. So that
Mm-hmm.
means I have very limited time to have this experience. So I want to see what I can do. I want to see if this path could be for me. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see what it would feel like if I can be like the women that I looked up to when I was younger. So here I am.
Yeah, that's actually good. No, that when the Miss Universe Philippines remove the height requirement. Something like, I believe that there were a lot of applicants who definitely um ewan ko, parang nag-apply lahat sa Miss Universe Philippines.
Yes. Ang daming
Mm.
naghihintay ng pagkakataon.
Mm, 'di ba? So, um before joining Miss Universe Philippines, have you been joining as well pageants?
I actually joined two pageants, but both were
Mm.
in my school. So I went to UST and
Mm-mm.
I joined Mr. and Miss Fine Arts and Design. And then the second one that I joined was Mr. and Miss AB, which is
Mm.
yung last course ko kasi I shifted.
Oo.
I joined both times. It was such a fun experience. And that's actually
Mhm.
how I really found out that I enjoyed being on stage. I enjoyed speaking, and yeah, now I get to do it for real.
Wow. So, what makes me actually interesting right now to ask is, how did you land um to doing contents on TikTok? Tapos yung ano ba yung contents mo? English teaching, no?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, how did you land to that? How did you come up with that concept?
Yeah, so I actually graduated with a degree in English language studies. And in
Oh.
2018, I was an English teacher in Spain. So I've been teaching English talaga po in the classroom. So
Mm-hmm.
when I started my TikTok account, kasi po I've been a content creator for 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos when TikTok happened, syempre during the pandemic, medyo
Oo.
wala tayong magawa sa house. I
Oo.
decided to hop on TikTok. And at first, I
Mm-mm.
was creating content about lifestyle, skincare, makeup,
Oo.
confidence. But then after po nun, some people started asking me questions about English. As in, mga, Miss Ayin, ano pong pinagkakaiba ng ganito sa ganyan? So I
Mm-mm.
decided, okay, I'll make a second account to answer all English related questions. So I would, kaya po,
Oo.
ang pangalan ng account ko is Ayin Pero Tagalog. Kasi doon ako nagtatagalog, literally. So ayun,
Ayun.
naging
At
teacher
least to
ako bigla sa
explain,
TikTok.
oo. Ang galing 'no, ang galing kasi nga, this is something like kakaibang ano, very unique content kasi. Though I always see contents as well in YouTube na teaching English, 'di ba?
Mhm.
A lot. Meron nga akong palaging fina-follow diyan na ano, na pinapanood. So sa YouTube nga lang kasi. So aside from slashing out the height requirement at Miss Universe Philippines, ano pa talaga yung dinadala mo sa Miss Universe Philippines?
Well, for me, I think my story is very unique because I've
Mm-mm,
been, following pageants for a long time as an outsider. And
mm-mm,
as an outsider, I've built experiences outside of the pageantry scene. And for me, it
mm-mm.
was number one, overcoming a lot of my own insecurities. And kaya nga po nabuo yung brand ko na Morena the Label, which is all about,
Oo,
celebrating our Morena skin. So
oo.
yung mga ganong experiences, that definitely gave me, I feel like, a good message to share. And I think a
Mm-mm,
lot of my community members, my viewers understand. A lot of people understand that I'm here to represent not just myself, but everybody else who feels the same way. Na, okay,
mm-mm,
maybe hindi tayo lumaki na, as the pretty girl or as
mm-mm,
the ideal girl, but at the end
mm-mm.
of the day, we still can show now we have both beauty and purpose. And I think that's what I bring to the table. It's definitely a different kind of beauty, but it's beauty
Oo.
nonetheless.
Oh, well, beauty is subjective. That's all
It
what we
really
know, 'di
is.
ba? So hindi lang sa kung ano talaga yung nakikita natin na or kung ano yung judgment natin is beautiful and that's already a norm.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Grabe, ang dami nating ano ha, ang dami ng mga gustong magtanong. I believe that you guys are very much excited to ask questions. So, before we proceed to that, guys, let's play with Ayin. So, we have here a challenge, the Have You Ever Had challenge. This is very famous yeah, this is very famous in YouTube. So, let's try it with Ayin. Are you ready, Ayin?
Yes, sir. Ano ba to?
Parang ano ha, parang medyo
Wait, anong gagawin ko, sir? Yes, no lang, ganon.
yes, no, and then
Do I
explain
explain?
why.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay po. Got it,
All
got
right.
it.
So here we go. Have you ever had worn an oversized or undersized pair of shoes?
Yes, absolutely. I have. When I was growing up, my shoe size was 5. So, very much rare. Maliit yung paa
Mm-mm.
ko. Tapos, because I have my sister and my mom, we tend to share shoes. Medyo mas malaki yung paa nila. So, whenever I would want variety in my wardrobe, and especially my shoe closet, makikihiram ako. So, yes, I have.
So tiis ganda or
Is
somehow.
ganda.
'Di ba? Kasi yung mga iba naman ay malalaki daw yung paa and then tendency is that when they go for shopping, ganyan, ang sinasabi daw sa sales lady ay yung pang basketball na paa.
Oh, wow. Can't relate.
Naloka lang, 'di ba? Now, Ayin, have you ever had snack out from home?
Snack out?
Snack out. Sneaking out.
Oh,
Mhm.
parang hindi naman po. I don't think so. It's more like nagpapaalam ako pero nagde-drive na ako. Hi,
Mhm.
mommy. Alas na po ako. More like that.
Hay nako. Grabe, oh. Tapos nagpapaalam na ka ng nasa labas na, no?
Yes.
Ayin, growing up, have you ever had wished to be a boy?
No, I really enjoy being a girl. I feel very empowered, raised as one, raised as an empowered woman, and I take pride in that. So, yeah.
Iba rin. Ayun. Ayin, have you ever had a crush on your professor or your instructor or teacher?
I don't think I have. No. I don't know. No, hindi po talaga. I think I'm more of somebody, my peer. I like having crushes on my peers as opposed to my teachers.
Mhm.
I believe in the boundaries of professionalism rin.
Admiration lang naman.
Nakaka-distract yun, sir, kapag ka may crush ka sa teacher mo.
Yung iba kasi nai-inspire eh. Di
But
ba?
Parang hindi.
Hi, good evening po sa lahat ng mga bumabate. Ayan. Anyways, moving forward, have you ever had worn your sister's dress? Sister's dress pala. Mhm.
Yes, 100%. Actually, sinasabihan niya na nga ako about this because sometimes she would see her clothes on my social media posts, tas hindi niya pa nasusuot. I'm really sorry, Eileen, if you're watching. Yes, parang nag-share na po talaga kami ng wardrobe.
Do you fight naman?
We don't fight like on TV. It's more of if we have a misunderstanding, there's an agreement, parang unwritten rule na kalma muna and then wala na, okay na kami ulit. It's really like that. We were brought up to have each other's backs.
Wow, that's nice. That's really so mature of you, ha?
We have a really
Mm-mm.
good relationship.
That's nice. Sana all ganun, no? Um, and that's very common sa ano sa mga siblings eh, 'di ba?
Mm.
Na nagsusuotan ng mga damit.
Yes.
However, ayun, have you ever had sold any of your pre-loved items?
Yes. I actually, when I was in high school, I used to sell my pre-loved books. So I had my
Mm.
own little online bookstore bago magkaroon ng
Oo.
e-commerce websites. So,
Ah,
yun. I think I've always been a mini entrepreneur. So, pagkakailangan ko ng cash, bebenta ko kung ano yung mga pwede kong mabenta.
iba. Kaya pala entrepreneur ka na ngayon. Ayun. Have you ever had fallen in love with your best friend?
No, actually, I don't think so. Because most of
Mhm.
my best friends are platonic. Hindi po kami talo.
'Di ba? O kaya filial, gano'n. Hmm. Have you ever had eaten street foods like chicken isaw,
Yes.
Betamax?
I love street food. I miss street food so much. The moment we're out of this pandemic, isaw galore.
Pa-join kung gano'n.
Opo, lika. Ano tayo? Ano food trip? Food trip.
Ayun yung sa mga ano, banchetto, gano'n.
Yes.
Have you ever had too much fun at a party?
I think so. Maybe,
Mm,
yes. I remember when I was in Spain for Halloween, we
mm,
had too much fun in the middle of winter and I regretted it kasi na-stuck po kami outside. Tas wala ng train, hindi makauwi, ganyan. But it's part of being in your early 20s. It was a learning experience.
'di ba? Have you ever had tried cutting classes?
In college, yes, because I was an irregular student and also a working student. So at times when I had to report for work, tapos wala naman masyadong gagawin sa class, I would be like, okay, what's my priority for today? But it had to be done. But I
Mm,
just have to say the disclaimer na I was a pretty good student. I graduated, with everything okay.
mm.
So, okay naman po yung grades ko. Graduate akong masaya and proud.
Yeah, with the honors, 'di ba? Ayun. One last have you ever had? Have you ever had dealt with your bashers?
Well, being on social media, especially for 5 years, I
Mhm,
have dealt with a lot of bashers, even to this day, especially with the MUP going on. But
mhm,
something that I learned is I shouldn't take things personally because
mhm,
people on the internet don't really know me. They only know a portion of me.
mhm.
And ako rin yung matatalo if I keep, worrying about those things. So I just let it be.
'Di ba? That's right. Kasi nga, that's a good advice actually, especially for someone who has been in social media for a long time. At least you know how to deal properly and professionally as well. No? All right. So thank you so much, Ayin, for those revelations. Di ba?
Thank you po.
And when we return, guys, we'll definitely ask your questions. So please do reserve your questions and drop them down at the comment section. Okay, all of that when we return after this short break.
Yay. Hello.
All right, we are back. Sorry kanina, nakalimutan kong mag-queue. Anyways, we are back. So, guys, we will definitely, just like what I have promised, we will definitely ask your questions to Ayin if you have. I can't wait, Teacher Ayin, answering MU questions. Yeah, pero hindi MU questions tayo ngayon, guys. Ha? It's more of, social issues if you want to ask social issue questions, but not political. All right. So we have here one first question coming from Nina Ganyo. Ayin, if you will win MUP, how can you help with the current pandemic?
I think for the last couple of, oh my gosh, it's been more than a year now for the
Mm-hmm,
pandemic. And as somebody who is a content creator, it's quite
mm-hmm,
difficult because my reach is only very limited. I know I can reach a lot more people and I can help with information dissemination, but at the end of the day, I think MUP has a much bigger platform than I have, and if I have a much bigger platform, then we can definitely create more impact. Now,
mm-hmm,
for me, if I should be fortunate enough to be given such a big platform, then we'll definitely work on more actionable things such as, fundraisers. I've done those in the last year, but given my limited connections, limited resources as well, I could only
mm-hmm,
do so much. But I think if I keep doing what I've done in the past, like holding workshops for fundraisers for causes that need it most, communities that need it most, we can definitely help in our own way. And more than that, of course, with the connections MEP has, there
mm-hmm.
will be more space for collaborations and more projects that can actually reach people on an individual level. And that's what we want to do, create as much as good an impact as possible.
Yeah, I think that's also good. That's actually advantageous. Yeah, that's actually an advantage on your end as content
Mhm.
creators. It would be easier for you to create and collaborate with the MUP sponsors or partners. No,
Mhm.
ayun. All right, thank you so much, Nina. And of course, we have a question from Christian Aban. How can you say that you are already empowered woman?
For
Oh, that you
me,
are already empowered, rather. Mhm,
Uh, I I've spent a bit of time trying to find empowerment within myself, and I think I can say I am the most empowered when I feel like I can act on my choices. When, for example, I am put in a situation where I have different choices, but I can choose what I know is authentic to me, then I am empowered. If I can resist pressure, especially external pressure to be a certain way, and
Mhm.
stand by my values, then I am an empowered woman.
Wow, diba? Thank you, Christian. And another question from William Windell, rather, Natividad Cabaruan the third. When can you say that a Filipina is successful?
I love your name, William, by the way. I hope
Mhm.
you had a good time learning to write that when you were a kid. Kasi di ba nung bata tayo, pag mahaba yung name.
Hirap na
But for
hirap,
me,
di ba?
I know, yung pangalan ko pa lang eh. But
Oo.
anyway, so I could say that a Filipina is successful when they are able to define success for themselves, because I believe
Mhm.
that success looks differently for everybody, and it's hard to pigeonhole Filipinas into one box. Like
Mhm.
success can look differently for different people, but to be specific, I guess for me, success is happiness. Success
Mhm.
is having peace of mind, and if I have personally achieved that, then I'd be happy, and I'd know that I would be successful.
Mhm.
For others, we'll see. How do you guys define success?
Well, that's absolutely contentment, 'di ba? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not longing for more than what you have or what more than what you have already achieved. So that's already contentment, and yeah, that's already contentment, and that's already success for me as well.
I love. Ito ang corona para sa'yo.
Ganun daw. Mas magaling ka. Ganun. Ayun. Hi, Francois Diaz. Pabati mo po ako kay Miss Ian, please. I'm a TikTok fan since then. Ayan.
Hi,
Pabati daw.
Jonathan.
Ayan. Ayan na, Jonathan. Tapos na. Ayan. Anyways, let's take a look on this. All right, here's a question from Aldrin Vito. If you were given a chance to ask all the politicians, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to filter this. Please don't.
That's maybe I could
Yeah.
ask that since it's only. I mean, I could answer that since it's only just a question, naman.
All right, sige then. Your
May
choice.
maybe if I were to ask every politician in our country, I would ask them, what is most important to you?
Mm-hmm.
And I think from that question, if we can get an honest answer, we get to know the priorities of each individual, then we get to know them a lot better, and we can make better decisions and better choices in how we select our leaders. So that's probably what I would ask. What's the most important thing to you?
Thank you so much. I won't talk further than that. Okay. Ano ba tong tanong ni ano ni John? Please answer this incomplete question. What is your greatest?
Ooh, challenge
This
ni
is
Jonathan.
tricky. Yeah.
My greatest would be my truest self. If I can be my authentic self, show up as somebody who knows who she is, what she values, then that is my greatest. Thank you, Jonathan.
Ang galing, 'di ba? Gina David, parang iba to parang iniba niya yung ano, yung common question.
Ooh,
Hmm. Why do you think should you not win the MUP crown?
very tricky question. If I were to not, if I would not win the Miss Universe Philippines crown, it would be probably either, well, there would be many answers to this, but I guess just from an individual level, without comparing myself to any of the other contestants, it would be because the world is not ready for this yet, and that's something that I completely understand. I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm very self-aware, by the way, for those of you guys who are wondering about, because I've been getting a lot of ambitiosa comments, and it's something that I think about a lot. But the thing is, I'm not here just to simply snatch the crown or anything like that. For me, my purpose goes beyond that. It's to represent those who haven't been represented on this stage. And if that
Mm-mm.
means I'm not going to win, that's okay. That's really okay with me, because at the end of the day, I really value authenticity most of all, and
Mm-mm.
representation most of all.
Ayun, thank you. Iba rin. Ano ako dun, ha? Gina, I really don't know how to answer that question. Do
It's
you
hard.
think do you think that a third restroom should be imposed for transsexuals?
I don't think so. I really don't think
Mhm,
so, because first of all, I don't see them as a threat. I mean, I have a lot of trans sisters that I know, and I really don't see them as others. And in
mm-mm,
fact, I feel like it would add to their discrimination and their experience of prejudice if we have this third restroom at all, because it would
exactly.
further complicate things. I feel like the best way to go about this is to unlearn our biases towards
Mhm,
our LGBT brothers and sisters, and understand that they don't really pose a threat to us, but in fact, they're having more difficulty with their experiences. And we should empathize with them, we should help them instead of exclude them.
that's right. Thank you, Gina, and of course, Crown. Joke. Ayun. From, how do I pronounce it? Carl Jim Neil Salud. What is your edge among the candidates? This is very common. Mhm.
I think it would be being a yin, just the unique story that got me here, the unique
Mhm.
experiences that got me here. We can never say what kind of beauty queen the judges will want, the audience will want, but I do know that it took me 2 decades of hard
Mhm.
work, determination to be the woman that I am today. It took me a lot of confidence building, a lot of public speaking training, a lot of storytelling to be this
Mhm.
Ayin. And I think,
Mhm.
being myself is a pretty good edge, I would say. I hope so. I hope so.
It is. Thank you, Carl Jim. And from Darlene, K. Lorio Alburo. Who is the person you look up to the most?
I would say my parents, so
Mhm.
persons, plural,
Mm-mm.
both
Uh-uh.
my mom and my dad, because honestly, they've created such a good environment for me and my siblings to thrive. And for me, that is the biggest privilege I have in my life. I would not be the Ayin that I am today if I wasn't allowed and encouraged to grow the way that I
Mm-mm.
did. So definitely my parents.
Thank you so much, Darlene.
Thank you, Darlene.
And baby Christine Gonzaga. If you were given the strength to defend all the poor here in our country, what should you do?
Thank you, baby Christine, for that question. First of all, I think this is quite a task, to defend
Mm-mm.
all the poor or less fortunate in our country. But
Mm-mm.
I would say I would start with education, especially fostering empowerment in young kids, because I believe that's
Mm-mm.
where it all starts.
Mm-mm.
So first is to allow everybody the same access and privilege to quality education, because I don't think it stops in the academic setting. I think good
Mm-mm.
quality education also extends to how confident people feel, how empowered they feel. And I believe
Mm-mm.
that that makes a huge difference. If
Mm-mm.
kids feel empowered, if kids feel like they have potential to rise above poverty, and
Mm-hmm.
if that's a gift that I could give them, then that's what I would prioritize.
Wow, the man. I was supposed to ask you something about education as um well as one of the factors of poverty in the Philippines, but since you've already explained it, so I think yeah, wala nang tanong. Thick, okay, from Jesse De Yale. Without TikTok, is Lil Ayin's dream would be continued? If yes, then why?
Yes, absolutely. As long as they remove the height requirements, I don't
Mm-mm.
see any reason not to join. In fact, when
Mhm.
I applied for my delegation for Miss Universe Philippines, I did not even include or introduce myself as a TikToker. I didn't. First of all, the name that I used is Rousanne Marie Bernos. It's not Ayin. And it's just not something that I used to leverage to get into the competition. So
Mhm.
I would say, even without TikTok, I definitely would have pursued this still. Although I
Mhm.
have to admit that TikTok and the internet has definitely helped me so far with all of the support that I never knew
Mhm.
that I could get. So it's definitely going to be a different experience without my work on the internet, but I would still pursue this 100%.
Wow. Diba? Thank you so much. And from France, Randall Radonia. What if all gays are straight?
France, what a boring world we would have. There would be less color, there would be less excitement. I think there's so much beauty in our
Mm-mm.
diversity and our different experiences, and we should be celebrating that.
Mm-mm. Ayun. Thank you so much, friends. So, Aldrin Vito, if you are given a chance to, this was already asked.
Yes.
Sorry about that. How will you define the happiness according to Edward?
Thank you, Edward. I would define true happiness as peace of mind. If I can go to sleep at night with a light heart, if I know that everything is going well or at least secure, having security, peace of mind, that is happiness. That's priceless. And I don't think I can ever buy that with just money. It's something that we can work towards.
All right, thank you so much. And from Mark Lawrence Heredero Agustin, national election is fast approaching. As a beauty queen, what for you is the best characteristic of a leader that,
That the country needs. Okay.
that
Hi,
our country
Mark.
needs today? Mm-hmm.
For me, the most important quality and characteristic of a good leader would be empathy. Because if you can put yourself in the shoes of your constituents, your citizens, then we can come up with solutions that will benefit all. And we can, see people as people instead of mere statistics. We can act fast. We can do better. Yeah, empathy really goes a long way.
Okay. Once again, another question from Jonathan Mercado. This question was asked to me during Man of the Philippines 2019. What do you think is the difference between an honest man and a man with integrity?
Interesting. I think honesty and integrity are both very important values, but I think integrity goes a step further because a person with integrity will not just, stop with the truth, but follow through with actions. I think it's not enough to just, say stuff and be honest, but at the same time we need to stand by them and actually act. So I think somebody with integrity is somebody who goes the extra mile.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Jonathan. And a question from Lance Zaim Ilan. When is the right time to speak and to listen?
I feel like it's the right time to speak when we have so much that we want to express and we are bursting with sorry, no, the other way around. It's the right time to speak when there's something that we there's something that we want to express but feel like we can't, and it's the right time to listen when there is just so much that we are saying, because sometimes, when we are going
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
overboard with expressing what we feel like we need to express, we fail to listen. So I think we need to do the opposite sometimes, and also pause and think what the right thing to do is. And sometimes it's to listen when we are saying too much, and it's to
Mhm.
speak when we are not expressing enough.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It's the right time to listen when we have so much to say. That's
Yes.
basically the time to reflect, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the right time to speak when we have reflected everything and we have something good to say.
Yes, I love that.
Mhm, 'di ba? Pabati daw si Darlene. Ayan.
Hi, Darlene. Good night. Pero wag ka muna umalis.
Ayan. A question from Angelica Hernandez. How do you handle the situation right now while having the mental health problem? Very common situation nga.
Yeah. So many people are dealing with mental health issues at the
Mhm,
moment, and I'm one of them, definitely. But one of the
mhm,
things that really helped me was asking for help. For a long
mhm,
time, I've been used to dealing with things on my own. I thought I could solve my own problems. But if anything, what really allowed me to, grow beyond this was to ask for help, ask for support for people who are also willing to provide that support and help.
mhm. Thank you so much, Angelica. And a question from J. Lo V. Velasquez. Would you rather be the one who
Mm.
hide the truth or the one who tells the lie?
Ooh, that's difficult. I think
Mhm,
I would rather be the one that tells the lie, because at the very least I would be in control of how I say that lie, and maybe, in the process of saying it, I can sprinkle what really matters in there. At least I'm the one in charge of what I'm saying, as opposed to just letting
mhm,
whatever happen. I think as long as I have the ability to act, that's what I'm going to do.
responsibility, di ba? Responsibility and accountability on your action, di
Mhm.
ba? So, thank you so much, JLo. And Vincent Salidaga, what is misconception of beauty?
I think there are many misconceptions when we talk about beauty, and one of them would probably be very, very strict beauty standards. I
Mm-mm,
think wherever you are in the world, there are certain beauty standards, and in the Philippines, we know what that is, and it's often leaning towards slender and light skin, etc.
mm-mm.
But I believe that beauty comes in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Yes, beauty is
Yes.
subjective, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, we can really truly find beauty in everybody. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not something that is just skin deep, it's something that,
Mm-mm,
manifests in our heart.
mm-mm. That's right. And by the mere fact that we are all born good, di ba?
Yes.
So definitely we are all beautiful.
I love that. Ikaw talaga, dapat may corona ka eh.
Ikaw yon, di ba?
I love. Gusto ko yung mga quotable quotes.
Charot ka. And we have a question from Leoj Abelera. If you could be anyone else beside yourself, who would you be?
I would really like to experience life as Oprah, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
she's achieved so much of what I want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
She started a school for girls. She's a very successful host. She has spoken to a lot of influential people, interviewed them about their life stories. And I want to be somebody like that, who not only has influence, but also
Mm-hmm.
creates positive impact that people can feel in the real world. So I would love to know how Oprah did it. So hopefully I can do it too.
Absolutely, you can. Diba? Kayang-kaya mo yan.
Thank
Ayan.
you.
Mhm. From JM Ursula Imperial, for you, what is the essence of culture and arts in this fight of pandemic?
Culture and the arts, they're so important because they remind us of our humanity. We don't just stop at surviving illnesses, we don't just stop at surviving death. We go beyond that. I think to be human is to experience all sorts of emotions and go beyond just being alive. It's, I think,
Mm-mm.
the culture and the arts is truly what makes life meaningful, and it plays a role even in the pandemic.
True. Ayan. So, Valentine Zalon, sino si Miss Ayin ngayon kung walang naganap na pandemic? Pabati na din po. Uhuhu.
Hi, Valentine. Honestly, I feel like if we didn't have the pandemic, I would be a full-time business owner. I would probably
Mhm,
be going hardcore and scaling my business. I would probably be doing that full time. Actually, right before the pandemic, I was this close to giving up my content creation career because I had nothing to offer. I felt like, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I thought that was the end for me. I haven't really grown my subscribers and my followers at that point. So I think if hindi naganap yung pandemic, I wouldn't be the TikToker that you know.
Oo, see.
Mm-mm.
Thank you so much for that, Valentine. Okay. From Jules Colantes. Am I reading it correctly? Jules. At
Ooh.
this current time, what is more important? Pursuit for knowledge, quest for love, or thrive for wealth? Oh my
I would
God.
say it would be the quest for love, because the
Mhm,
quest for love will inevitably lead to the pursuit of knowledge and thriving for wealth, because love is not limited to romantic relationships. It also
mhm,
includes your friendships, it also includes your connections, and most importantly, it also includes yourself, your relationship with yourself. And if you
mhm,
love yourself enough, you will do what it takes to continue pursuing knowledge and at the same time acquiring, enough wealth to thrive in this world.
mhm.
And yeah, definitely love is the key.
True. Love is universal. Diba? Love is love talaga. Ayan. What is the difference between an educated person and learned person? Where do
Hmm.
you see yourself from these? Diba siya?
I think the main difference from the two would be educated can be limited to perhaps
Mhm,
academic settings, or maybe from a society perspective. But I guess
mhm,
a learned person might be somebody who has grown through experiences. And while both are equally important, I think if you can utilize your life lessons to bring you further in this life, that could be an even bigger edge. So
mhm,
maybe that's it. It's how we see learning, it's how we see education, and where you acquired your knowledge.
mhm. What else can I say? Diba? What important lesson you've learned in your life and how will you apply it as your time as Miss Universe Philippines? Tanong kay Catriona.
For me, one of the most important things that I've learned in my life is self acceptance. It took me quite some time to build enough confidence to know that I am enough and that I
Mhm,
also have the potential that other people have. And I think this
mhm,
will really help me in the competition and as in my time as Miss Universe Philippines, because I think you need to have a good amount of self worth to thrive in an environment that's full of pressure and expectations. If you know who you are, you can go a long way.
Hmm. Diba? Ano pa bang sasabihin ko? Wala na, tapos na. Ganun. Ayan. So, from Simon Atienza, when Queen Rabia won the MUP crown, she was criticized because of being uh, true about our government. If you were in that shoes, what will you do? And how will you handle that situation?
Aw, Rabia, by the way, is such a queen. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've never met her, but she seems like such a sweetheart, and I loved watching her through her journey. So for me, I would probably stick to my word. I would stand by what I believe in, and probably reach out to the people that I can reach. As somebody
Mm-hmm.
who has maybe a little more of a platform, maybe. it's easier to get people to listen. And perhaps
Mm-mm.
if I ever get that opportunity, I would strive to have that dialogue with the people involved so that we
Mm-mm.
can further have impact.
Mm-mm.
Although I have to say that's a really difficult position to be in, because it's a polarizing position to be in, and I
Mm-mm.
really admire her for just being who she is and just being as authentic as possible.
All right, thank you so much. And a question from Rolando Pellingon Jr. As a teacher, how can you relate education to the progress of our economic status as a country?
I think education, like I mentioned earlier, doesn't stop as just an academic achievement. I believe that education empowers kids and the younger generation. I think if we can raise a generation of empowered citizens, if they know that they have the potential to grab opportunities, if they are
Mm-mm.
given the resources that they
Mm-hmm.
need, the knowledge they need to live and thrive in this world, then that will definitely affect and impact our economy positively. Because if you have people who are open to growth and learning, and um, are are able to see outside of what society has given them as like a barrier, then yeah, I think that will definitely help us, the
All
Philippines.
right. J-Lo Velasquez, what are your thoughts about cancel culture?
I think cancel culture is an opportunity to educate and have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's unavoidable for us to have different opinions, and I understand why some people are canceled, and I know why this happens, but I feel like we can go a step further and see that as an opportunity to educate. Something that I learned from a TED talk recently was, instead of calling people out, we can call people in. And that
Mm-mm.
really struck a chord with me, because as a content creator, we often think that when we say something, that is the end of it. But,
Mm-mm.
maybe if you're somebody who is knowledgeable in that area, or if you know more, maybe you can use that opportunity to call people in, bring them to your side, because at the end of the day, that will create the most impact, and it's a win-win. They learn,
Yeah,
you educate, we get more people on our side.
diba? Ayun. Thank you so much, JLo. And what about this one? If you could choose between knowledge and power, what would it be and why?
I would choose knowledge 100%, because I think knowledge is power. Power without knowledge can only bring you so far. And in fact, I think it could be more harmful than good. But if you have knowledge and wisdom, if you know what you're talking about, if you know the solutions to problems, then you don't really need power. You will
Mm-hmm.
have influence in your own right. And I think that's how we get to change.
Mm-mm. Diba? Iba pa rin kasi. Yun lang nasabi ko, diba? Ayan. So, there's a question here coming from, let me just try to, Louis J. Bessa. What would you sacrifice to be successful?
I would sacrifice time, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that success takes a lot of time and effort. And for me, that's just something that I've accepted. I know that in order to
Mm-hmm.
achieve the dreams and goals that I've set for myself, I am going to have to give myself time to be an expert at these things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've been doing. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it's a sacrifice. I think it's a
Yeah.
worthy trade
Mm-hmm.
off.
Wow, gusto ko yun, yung worthy trade-off.
Yeah.
Di ba? From Janelle Angeles Castillo. Oh, medyo ano to. So, ganito na lang. I-rephrase ko na lang yung tanong mo po, Janelle, ha? Um, are you for trans women in joining Miss Universe Philippines?
Yes. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
Janelle, for your question. Yes, absolutely. I am for our trans sisters joining Miss Universe Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that the essence of beauty pageants really lie in the impact and the
Mm-hmm.
influence it has. So for me, if we can, empower more people and not just us cisgendered women, if we can
Mm-hmm.
extend that influence and that platform to our trans sisters, then why not? I don't think it takes away anything from pageantry. I think it even adds to that.
Mhm, 'di ba? Kasi, well, that depends din kasi, especially in Miss Universe Philippines right now, and with the situation in our country as well. While um, gender change or change of gender is not yet legal, so definitely it's too
Yeah.
hard for us to talk about this. It's still a taboo, right?
I think,
So,
yeah, we really need to
mm-mm,
start with our legislation in
that's
order
right.
to have it available to in our local, national pageants.
That's right. And yeah, it's just too hard that we are talking about this. However, our legislation is not yet ready for it. 'Di ba?
I hope
Mm-mm.
soon.
Mm-mm. 'Di ba? So hopefully they'll be able to work or somehow yeah, they'll be able to work on the Sogi bill and make it a law. Yeah, so hopefully. Right. There you go. Question from Felix PJ Galeta Garcia. What has been the hardest question have you ever heard, or should we say that was ever asked to her, to you,
I
Aileen?
the thing that comes to mind is every math question ever, because honestly, like questions like these, questions that
Mm-mm,
involve my opinion, I feel like I can answer them because they're coming from a place of personal experience,
mm-mm,
personal
mm-mm,
stories. So I don't really see them as hard, I see them as long and complicated. But if we're talking about the hardest question, it would be any math question. That's my weakness.
Ay nako, pareho tayo. I can definitely relate with you. It's
Ang
just too
hirap.
hard for me to pass the math course.
Yeah.
Ayun. Thank you, Felix. From John Lloyd Valigano of Kela. Are you with or against globalization?
Ooh. I think globalization in its own rights have its pros, but I think that if we are going into this direction, we must also not forget our roots
Mm-hmm.
and who we are as Filipinos. I feel like if we are going for globalization, it's more for opening the opportunities to our fellow Filipinos, allowing us to
Mm-hmm.
take bigger roles in global issues and experiences. But as for our identity as Filipinos, it's something that we should continue to maintain and continue to foster as we go through that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So from Jasper Neil Sotwito, what advice can you give to the youth nowadays? Pabati po. Love you, Miss Aying.
Hi, Jasper. Thank you so much, by the way, for watching, and thank you for the question. My advice to the youth today would be to keep asking questions, because I think we are reaching a point in human history where we are challenging a lot of the things that we used to believe. And if we can
Mm-hmm.
continue asking questions, we can come up with better solutions moving forward. And I think, if we continue asking the question, how can we do this better? Then there's a bigger chance that we can have a future where we can thrive.
Yes. Hmm, and there are so many things that actually the youth, in my own opinion, there are many things that the
Mm-mm.
youth should actually have to reroute their thoughts, because
Mm.
yeah, it's not everything that we see on social media should be happening in us, or should be done, should be lived life, should should be live life, no? Kasi most of the time, or often than not, kasi what we see in social media are just somehow like just fantasy or whatever. So it's not everything is in reality. So I think something that we should have to look onto that.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true. Parang
Mm-mm.
we can set our expectations na medyo, in real life, be more,
Mm-mm.
I guess, open and authentic as well as to what
Mm-mm.
the real world looks like. Kasi totoo nga na
Yes.
very, how do I say this? Misleading
Uh,
rin sometimes ang
Oo.
buhay on social media.
That's right. Iyon. Hmm. Thank you so much. And what is your opinion on the use of psychedelics for mental therapy? I'm not, hindi ako ano dito.
Well, hi Blar. Well, for
Mm,
me, I haven't really had much experience with
mm-mm,
psychedelics, so I don't think I have enough experience or knowledge to have an opinion on this. But like based on what I've been listening to and hearing, especially in other countries,
mm-mm,
they are making progress in that field. I think it's good to have an open mind and to allow research to
mm-mm.
to explore that as well, because I don't know. Let's see what scientists say, and let's listen to them, I guess.
Ayun. So, how can you prove to everyone that education is a right and not just a privilege for some? From Rolando Pelingon.
I believe that every kid, child, person deserves an equal opportunity to
Mm-hmm,
live an ideal life, to be their best selves. And one of the ways that we can achieve that in this society is education. And if we
mm-hmm,
require education to get a job, if we require education for a lot of the things that you need to survive in the real world, then we should make education available to everybody, because that's the only way we can ensure that everybody has a shot at
mm-mm.
living a good life.
Yes. And yun nga, parang, ano ba yung sinabi mo kanina? Equal opportunities eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yun. Okay, thank you so much. From Alicia Victoria Agustin, what is your insight about constructive criticism? Hi, Ate Ian, I love you.
Thank you, Alicia. I think for me, constructive criticism really, really helps, but it really
Mm-mm,
matters how you deliver the criticism. Because if a
mm-mm,
criticism isn't accepted or received well, then it's not going anywhere useful.
mm-mm,
People will dismiss that as a negative comment. So when
mm-mm,
we are giving constructive criticisms, we should be mindful of how we say this, because at
mm-mm,
the end of the day, we are human beings, we have feelings, and we
mm-mm.
should know how to not only what we want to say, but how we want to say it.
That's right. Because it's really very important to know the tone of your message, 'di ba? Because
Yes.
if it's not really accepted well, or yeah, that depends basically on the reader, on how it is being accepted by the reader. Kasi it may sound bashing if it's not um, properly composed, 'di ba?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm. Ayun. So, siguro ano din, tawag doon parang manner, proper
Mm-hmm.
manner on how to say it, 'di ba?
Tsaka siguro
Mm.
avenue na rin.
Mm.
Avenue, like if you really care about somebody, then it would be nice if you do it privately as opposed to, on the internet.
Mm.
If you really care, diba? Para hindi
Oo.
mapahiya, ganyan.
Mm.
Stuff like that, we can consider.
And siguro one thing din siguro is parang reach out na lang, wag dun sa comment. If your
Mm-hmm.
comment, yeah, if your comment parang offensive na, ganyan, you better reach out to the person.
Yeah.
Oo. Ayun, 'di ba? Napapahaba tayo. So, are you fully satisfied? Oh, sorry about that. Mhm. Sorry, guys. Let me remind you guys that political questions are to be avoided because we don't want our queens to be put into any form of controversies or bashing. All right. So I hope we are. aware of that. Okay, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. How to boost your self-esteem, according to Edward.
For me, it's really getting to know yourself and being honest with yourself about your strengths and your weaknesses. Because oftentimes, when we say
Mm-hmm.
be honest with yourself, parang we
Mm-hmm.
talk about the weaknesses. But I think it's also important to be honest about your strengths, what's good about you, what's positive about you, and to focus on those, build those in order for us to grow as a person. If we grow, then inevitably rin naman na our confidence also grows with us.
Hmm. Thank you. Uh, hmm. Jay Gomez. Hi, Miss Ayin. Good evening. I'm Jay Gomez, man of the Globe Philippines, 2021 Miss Samis Oriental. I have a question for you. What advice would you give to a first timer on pageantry?
Hi, Jay. I'm also a first timer. So, this is probably an advice I would give myself. It would be
Uh-huh.
to ask for help because there
Mm-mm.
are a lot of mentors, a lot of people who are more knowledgeable about the industry and what it's all about. So, ask questions, ask for help, ask for feedback so you can work on the things that you can still work on while you have time.
Tama. 'Di ba? And of course, siguro ang masabi ko na lang dyan is preparation is a must talaga. Mm. Ayan. Sobrang kailangan mo ng preparation before you eventually join any pageant. Just like Yin, di ba?
Yes,
Ayan.
prepare.
Thank you so much, Jay. From Will Zelev or Velez, what is your worst behavior when dealing challenges and failures, and how do you manage it? Pabati po. Ayan.
Hi, Will. Thank you for your question. For me, I would say my perfectionism would often get in the way. And the
Mhm.
reason that this is harmful is when I feel like I need to be perfect all the time and that I need to get everything done all the time, it's harmful because I'm human. And if I don't
Mm-mm.
allow myself space to make mistakes, then it's going to be hard for me to bounce back and move forward. So that's why
Mhm.
I always remind myself that Ayin, you are a work in progress. Whatever you lack today, you can work
Mhm.
on. If there's something that you did wrong, accept it, make up for it, and do better next time. For me, it's always about focusing on the progress and the process of
Mhm.
things.
All right. Thank you. And a question from Merlin Bernos na Quinto Bacod. I think, ano to, kamag-anak mo to. If you could break one rule, what rule would that be?
Hi, Ate Merlin.
Mhm.
If I were to break one rule, this is hard for me because I love rules. I tend to follow
Ah.
rules a lot. But
Mhm.
if I were to break one rule, it would be hmm, I don't know if there's a rule it would be my calorie counting. I mean, it's technically a rule that I've imposed on myself, especially during this time that I'm preparing for the pageant. But
Mhm.
sometimes you just want a good good meal, good snack and went like going overboard with the calories. And I think it's as long as it doesn't harm anybody,
Mhm.
yeah, I'd like to
You're
enjoy
just
my food, please.
you're just harming your diet.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make up for it tomorrow.
Like it's always cheating day. Di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Merlin. And from Raymart Fuentes, Ali, if ever you have the chance to change your fate, would would you? Oh, yun pala yun.
Hi, Ray Mark. Thank you so much. I believe that every day I have the chance to change my fate because I believe
Mm-hmm.
that we are a product of our choices. And every day I make sure I remember that. Each day I choose to do things that will bring me closer to my goal. So,
Mm-mm.
yes, the answer is yes, I would keep changing my fate because my fate depends on my choices.
Absolutely. And our decision is actually leading us to another circumstances. 'Di ba? Tama ba ako?
Yeah,
Tama ba sinasabi ko?
tama. Tama naman.
I mean, our action is actually leading us to the situation we are in. It's actually a
Mhm.
consequence of our action. Parang ganon.
Yes.
Ayun. So, thank you so much po. Tapos from Hannah Rose Tomol, what can you advise to those who want to enhance their English and communication skills?
Okay,
Advice for us.
magsa-switch ako ng mode. Teacher Ayin on. According to Teacher Ayin, for me, well, personally, you guys, my best advice would be to use the language as often as possible. If you want to
Mhm,
learn a new language, the best way to acquire it and to be better at it is to continue using it. Like for me, for
mhm,
example, hindi naman ako lumaki na Inglesera. Actually, Tagalog po kami sa bahay magsalita.
mhm,
Pero kaya lang ako naging matatas sa English. It's because I kept using it. As in, nagsasalita ako minsan mag-isa just to practice. Kung wari, nagbibigay ako ng TED Talk. Kung wari, sometimes I would read books out loud. And
mhm,
if you immerse yourself in the language enough, it really
mhm.
gets easier. It gets better.
Yeah, that's right. I definitely agree with you because that's the best way actually to learn another language, especially when you are going to when you're visiting a country that
Yeah.
speaks a different language. It is better to speak directly to the natives than to speak English with them.
Mm-hmm.
Iyon. So that's the best way to learn. Ganun din sa
Gamitin mo
English
lang.
kasi, oo. Oo, ganun din kasi sa English. Think English and definitely you will speak English. Ganon.
Yeah.
Ayun. So, there you go. All right, guys, thank you so much for all the questions. And we do apologize, guys, if we weren't able to ask your questions because there are a lot actually on our comment section. However, when we return, guys, we'll talk more about Ayin's advocacy. So please stay tuned. Um, all right, all of that when we return after this short break. All right.
Thank you.
All right, so we are back, and thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, still with us. And yes, just like what we have promised, sorry po, napasobra daw po ata. And that's fine, guys. And we do apologize for those who posted their questions and we weren't able to ask anymore. So, anyways, let's talk about Ayin's advocacy. So, Ayin, can you tell us your advocacy?
Yeah, so my advocacy going into this pageant, especially even
Mhm,
before I knew I was going to be Miss Universe Philippines, it's always been empowerment through education and inclusion.
mhm,
And I emphasize that it goes hand in hand. It's education and inclusion because I feel like that's the best way to empower the next generation. It's to allow them the opportunities, but also more than that, making them understand that they are welcome, accepted, and good
mhm,
enough. So for me, what I've been doing in the well, I don't remember when exactly I started, but one of the
Mm-mm.
things that I've been working on for my advocacy for the education part is my public speaking workshops. So I actually
Mm-mm.
hold a lot of fundraising public speaking workshops, which is,
Mm-mm.
educational. I teach people how to speak in front of the public, how to gain
Mm-mm.
confidence. And for these programs that I've facilitated in the past, we have contributed to different causes that need those. So different communities, depending on the situation. For example, it could be typhoon relief. It could be
Mm-mm.
what was the at the beginning, the jeepney drivers who who didn't have who lost their jobs basically.
Mm-mm.
So we provided relief for that. And then recently there was an education assistance program that we
Mm-mm.
supported through that cause, through that fundraiser. And for me, I think it's just a really good avenue to not only raise awareness but also create impact on an individual level. So the means is education. Now, on the other hand, the second part is inclusion, and it's all about championing diversity, championing skin color positivity. And I do that through my work with Morena the Label, which is my business. And I started it as a personal project, mostly because I wanted to wear t-shirts that empowered me. But I
Mm-mm.
realized that the Morena community is just big, and this what like colorism is an issue that's so much bigger than me. It's something that a lot of Filipinos experience.
Mm-mm.
So that's what I've been talking about and raising awareness on in the last couple of years. And yeah, that's what I'm still bringing to the table for this MUP.
Ayun, that's actually nice, no? Especially on that education now, and the other one, which is the inclusivity,
Inclusion. Yes.
inclusion or inclusivity. No? I like that inclusion concept because that wouldn't only be applied for you girls, for the women, but also it could also be applied to men because well, 'di ba sa atin kasi kapag ka Pinoy, kapag ka lalaki ka kailangan moreno naman, 'di ba? 'Di ba kapag ka kasi maputi ganyan, so ang lalaki parang iniisip na the other way around, parang ano na, tawag dito, gender
Mhm.
issues na, 'di ba? So definitely that
True.
that could definitely work and could help as well to understand how to include the colors in the
Mhm.
society, 'di ba?
Absolutely. And it really
Mm-mm.
affects kasi everybody. It affects us not
Mm-hmm.
only sa part na syempre there would be
Mm-hmm.
bullying growing up, di ba ganyan? But
That's
more
right.
than that, it also affects employability, for example. One of the things that people
Mm-hmm.
often include in job descriptions or mga job hunting ads, they
Mm-mm.
would say na, halimbawa, a cashier job, laging nakalagay,
Mm-mm.
kailangan presentable. What
Mm-mm.
happens when your idea of presentable is maputi?
Mm-mm.
Then that would definitely exclude a huge part of our population. So that's something
Mm-mm.
that I've been wanting to raise awareness on, na
Mm-mm.
this doesn't stop sa pangungutya. Hindi lang yung
Mm-mm.
pangungutya yung naaapektuhan. It also affects people's opportunities, potential,
Mm-mm.
and how can we expect people to feel empowered if merong ganong factor? So
That's
that's
right.
what
Mhm.
yeah.
That's right. I definitely agree with you on that. At saka ano kasi, 'di ba? Yung mga iba din kasi, especially yung mga TVCs, ganyan na lang. Mga for branding, ganyan. Laging
Mhm.
meron silang hinahanap na particular color, ganyan. Na hopefully you will be able to alam mo yun, let go of color differences na lang, color comparisons, 'di ba?
Mhm. Yeah.
Instead, embrace the color that we all have. Diba? Ano ba? Ayun. So, have you been partnering to any sector, especially for education?
For education, especially
Mm-hmm.
the one that I've been doing, I've actually been in like independently organizing these
Mm-hmm.
workshops, and I've partnered with different organizations based on what they need. So for
Uh-uh.
example, the recent one was the educational assistance program of our ministry,
Mm-hmm.
and parang dun kasi they needed assistance for kids who are now studying from home. So we have a community kasi na kailangan ng, for example, equipment. Hindi naman lahat ng
Mm-hmm.
bata, 'di ba, merong access sa online education. So doon napupunta po yung funds. And more than that, also providing allowances for the tutors who give back also to the community to teach the kids
Mm-hmm.
themselves, kasi I think more than just giving them equipment, it's also important to give them actual support na nakukuha lang
Mm-hmm.
natin from a teacher who is here in real life. So
Uh-uh.
yeah, for me, based on my experience, it's really looking at where I can direct the funds and
Mm-mm.
looking at the different communities that might need me. So it's really all about diversifying my resources as much as possible.
Nice. Thank you so much, Ayin, for this for sharing us your advocacy. And I am definitely looking forward to alam mo yun, to make to have this flourish as well. And yeah, sana maging
Thank
successful
you.
pa. Ayun. Ayun. So, all right, let's proceed to our next segment. Ganun, ganun na lang daw.
Yes.
Ayan. So, syempre na, tinitingnan ko kasi yung oras, ayun eh.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry na
And
lilimit.
that's fine. That's fine. We will still have more time soon. Anyways, ayan. So, can you see this on your end?
Yes po, I can see
All
it.
right. So we have a game here. So it's just a very simple exercise. So we call it pick a box. So these are actually mystery boxes. Okay, so we have six boxes in here. Just one moment right here. Let me just try to remove that logo. Ayan. So we have six boxes in here, or mystery boxes, and on each box there is a corresponding word or words. Word that needed an opinion from you, of course, or a comment, and then words because they are in a form of fast talk. So when you choose one, then explain why.
Okay.
All
Wait,
right.
so do I will explain po
Mm-hmm.
whatever the word is, like my opinion,
Yes.
ganyan. Okay,
Yes.
got
All right.
it.
Okay. Are we ready? So, um, I'll ask you to choose or to pick at least four only. Okay. So, one after the other. What's your first pick? Whenever you are ready.
My first one is number 5.
Number five. Are you sure for this?
Yes.
For 1,000 pesos. Joke. Wala
Yeah.
akong bayad sa'yo. Annulment or divorce?
I think with annulment or divorce, we are allowing people to have a choice. And I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to having the ability to choose. One of the
Mhm,
misconceptions that people have when we talk about annulment or divorce is that we are disrespecting the sanctity of marriage, but
mhm,
it's actually more than that. It's caring for
mhm,
those who need to get out of difficult situations, and
mhm,
if they have the option to get out of it, why wouldn't we give them that? I think
mhm,
this is all about having a choice. And
mhm,
honestly, good marriages would choose to stay anyway. So this
mhm,
doesn't take away from the sanctity of marriage. This just allows people to take care of themselves. And I think that's important too.
Yes. So, uh, let me just take this opportunity as well to explain what it means by, what's basically the difference of the two,
Oh yeah.
because there are some misunderstanding when we speak of annulment and divorce. When we speak of annulment, kasi we are talking about nullifying of the marriage. So
Mm-hmm.
this is both legal in church, in the church, and in the civil. So meaning, when we nullify the marriage, that means that there was no marriage that ever happened from the beginning due to some impediments, due to some reasons, of course, or valid reasons. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
when we speak of divorce, this actually defines as dissolution of marriage. So when we meaning dissolution doesn't really remove the marriage compared to annulment, which nullifies, it
Mm-hmm.
removes the marriage.
It's
So
like it never happened.
yes, that's right. So in the divorce, there is still a marriage binding the couple because it was only dissolved, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, it allows them to remarry. In the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, we have legal separation that the couple can definitely um, can get separated, legally separated. They can live separate in a separate roof, and they can own properties on their own, right? So
Mm-hmm.
without including or without including anyone, all right, or their partner as conjugal properties, 'di ba? So in the divorce kasi, what I am worried about is that when we have the divorce, when we legalize divorce in the Philippines, there is a possibility that people gets become polygamous because the divorce is still in the marriage.
Well,
Because the marriage is still in the divorce.
yeah, but I think it's
Mm-mm,
important to note also that with annulment and legal separation, it
mm-mm,
has very limited boundaries and it
mm-mm,
still risks the safety of a lot of people. I
mm-mm,
mean, if you're somebody, for
mm-mm,
example, like just to give you a different situation, if, for example, somebody is in an abusive relationship and
mm-mm,
they still have its legal separation, but you're still tied to that person for the rest of your
mm-mm.
life, then it's quite a difficult position to be in, especially for women.
Yeah,
So I think in
yeah.
that case, it would be
Mm,
nice to at least have an option or the choice.
mm-mm. Annulment is a choice joke.
It takes a lot of privilege though, a lot of money, time. So
Mhm.
it's not for everybody.
I think that's another misconception in annulment, because if in case that the if in case both parties are willing to to get annulled, definitely they will, what basically is needed is the cooperation of both parties. So willingness talaga ng bawat isa ang kailangan sa annulment.
Yeah, but if
Mm.
the other party is not willing and you're coerced outside of your will, then
That's the
that's
problem.
dangerous. That's dangerous.
Mhm. Ayun. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. That's a good discussion.
Anyway, so what's your second option? Pick
My
pala.
second option is one.
Number one. Same-sex marriage.
Same-sex marriage. I
Mm-hmm.
would say, it's a very complicated matter, especially in the Philippines where religion is, like of
Mm-hmm.
utmost importance. But I
Mm-hmm.
think we should look beyond that and also see that these involve rights, basic human rights that as heterosexuals
Uh-huh.
have this human right to be
Uh-uh.
with the person that they love legally, And I
Mm-mm.
think it's something that our LGBT brothers and sisters should also have, because love is love. And, if you're not hurting anybody, why would we, take that away from
Mhm.
somebody who just wants to legally be able to take care of their partner? I think it's just a basic human right.
Mhm. Natawa ako ay, pak, debate. No, we are not debating, guys, ha?
I think yun yung maganda.
Mm,
That's what I
mm,
keep saying about, like,
uh,
being able to
uh,
have a conversation and
uh.
parang be able to exchange ideas.
I'm learning with this live. Thank you for maagang eskwela program. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Love is love. So, yeah, sure. Thank you so much, guys. So, last two pick.
Number three.
Number three, outdoors or indoors?
Well, right now, because we are in the ECQ
Mhm,
indoors, but
mhm,
if I had the choice, I would stay outdoors. Honestly,
mhm,
anything under the sun is preferable for me. If I can enjoy nature as much as possible, I would definitely
mhm,
choose outdoors.
mhm. Ayan, Ma'am Chico Francois, pa-shoutout na, "Hi, Gruspe!" Ayan. Pa-shoutout daw, ayin.
Ay, sorry. Hi. Paano i-pronounce yan? Gruspe.
Gruspe. Ayan. Mhm.
Gruspe. Hi.
Ayan. Ayan, pakiramdam ko talaga pagod na ang mic ni Miss Ayin.
Hard
Totoo
worker
ba?
to. Hard worker to. Kaya dedicated yan.
Ayan. Ayan. Last pick, Ayin.
Number six.
Number six. Heels or sneakers to? So, or yan ha, hindi off.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I would choose. Ang hirap because, before the pageant, I would have answered sneakers because
Mm-mm.
I don't really wear a lot of heels, but
Mm-mm.
now it's growing on me. I'm learning to enjoy it now, and I love walking on it because it gives me a boost of confidence. So I would choose heels.
Oh, 'di ba? And congratulations sa ano mo, runway. Um,
Tumatalino ba kayo,
runway.
guys?
Ba't tumatalino agad ako sa live na 'to? Oh, magic. Yeah, congratulations sa runway challenge video mo. Mhm.
Grabe,
Yes.
thank you po. I
Mm,
really
'di
worked
ba?
hard for
Mm.
that, and also to practice and to
Mm.
catch up, kind of.
Ayun, thank you so much, Shayeen, for playing with me.
Yes. Thank you po sa
Ayun.
challenge.
And yeah, you're welcome. So, Ayin, I believe that you have so many people to, that you want to send a message to so many people right now. And so this is the time for you to, to do that. And of course, it's time also for you to promote your business. I know you have a business, your social
Yes.
media platforms, and to call out to your for your supporters. Yeah.
Yes. Well, sir, thank you so much, first of all, for having me and sharing your platform with me.
Mhm.
Sir Francois, I really love your name.
Thank you.
And to everybody watching, to those who are supporting, thank you so much for watching and for, getting me here to the top 75. And I hope you can continue supporting me by voting for me on the Miss Universe Philippines app. All you need to do is find my name, Rousanne Marie Bernos of San Juan City, and click the star to vote
Mhm.
for me. You guys can find me if you want to learn more about what I do on the internet. I have a podcast called Camp Confidence Radio. I am Ayin Bernos everywhere. And my YouTube channel is Ayin Bernos as well. If you guys want to support my small business, it's called Morena the Label. There. That's it.
Ayan.
Thank
Ayun.
you.
So, thank you so much. And to all our viewers, thank you so much as well for dropping by, for spending your time with us tonight. This is really very special. And To Tito Dave, thank you so much, Tito
Thank you,
Dave,
Tito
for
Dave.
thank you so much, Tito Dave. Ayan, laban top 50. Yes, Tito Dave, ilaban natin yan. Ayan. Thank you so much po, Tito Dave and the House of Crowns. Tito Edwin, thank you so much. You don't know how much grateful I am and honored to have all your queens with me. Kahit na saan sila lumaban, yan. Thank you so much. And of course, to all those who have not to all those who have not yet followed and liked our page, please do so. Follow and like our page, and also subscribe and click our Facebook. Subscribe on our YouTube channel rather, and of course, click the bell notification for more pageant updates. Thank you so much, guys. Good night, everyone, and thank you so much, Ayin. And what else? Did I forget anything? To our sponsors, thank you so much.
Ang
So
bongga ng
tomorrow,
sponsors. I love it, sir.
yeah, thank you po. Thank you, Seduction and Lalore. Thank you so much. And of course, Celebrity, thank you so much for sponsoring. So thank you once again, and see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And oh, we also have 3 p.m. tomorrow. So, but our prime time and regular schedule is actually at 8 p.m. with another Miss Universe Philippines candidates. So, dalawa sila bukas. Ayan. So, thank you once again. Good night and God bless you all. Ayin has to go.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless you
you.
all. Ayun.